طيب. Thank you, Abouna, so very much for accepting our invitation today.
It's a blessing, Amina. Thank you.
No, thank you, Abouna. We have started this series with Abouna Antonius, and very thankfully he shared with us.
He passed the exam.
Oh, Abouna Antonius is here, by the way, Abouna.
No, أنا عارف.
And we had Amba Angelus as well.
برضه أمبا أنجلوس passed the exam.
And thank you, Abouna, for being with us.
They were very actually attractive in their interviews, really يعني.
Thank God, Abouna. طيب, we will start today with you. Thank you very much for accepting, Abouna. And I know that today is like my 17th call to you today. The very first question I would like to ask, how are you still not fed up with me?
حبيبي أنت I am addict now يعني call Mina. If you don't call me, I feel I miss something. Don't be worried.
We will start today with you. Thank you very much for accepting, Abouna. طيب, Abouna, on a serious note, you have been a priest for almost 23 years. Have you ever regretted accepting the priesthood?
لا, not at all, to be honest. I am very honest in this point. Priesthood is a great blessing. And I personally, and I think my family, all of them can feel this blessing. Of course, Sahar can share me the same idea, but at the same time, priesthood means that you will be in the front line. When Satan wants to attack, he is going to attack you first. At any level, on a personal level, on family level, on service level, لأنه he knows very well, if I attack the shepherd, the flock will scatter. لكن in general, it's a great blessing, and I personally see hands God works in my life, in my family, in my service, in a very clear way.
I'm sorry to ask this, Abouna, but I'm sure throughout these years you must have had very difficult moments, very difficult times, maybe some tribulations. Have this ever made you miss medicine or doubt that this was your right decision?
I miss medicine because of medicine, not because of the tribulations. Medicine is an addiction, برضو. Not because hard time, which I faced while I am a priest, but because any doctor, he will like medicine. He will love his career. And I remember after my ordination as a priest, I went to the hospital to visit my friends in the department of anesthesia. All of them are doctors of anesthesia. And while we are sitting, we have a gallery كده. We usually sit in it. They told me we are going to start the list of operations now. Do you want to share us? They were seriously talking. If you want to give an anesthesia to any patient, it's okay. We have 3 operating rooms. You can choose. I refuse طبعا لأنه because of the patient, he will have a heart attack if you find a priest in front of him.
I think so now you're going to meet God straight away.
Like I miss medicine, of course.
طيب how did it happen, Abouna? Yani, how did the offer of priesthood come to you? Like, how did you have troubles accepting it? Yani, how did you make a decision since you love medicine so much?
هو يعني actually I was a servant in my church, and my father there knew me very well. I served in all the stages of service, يعني starting from primary Sunday school, preparatory Sunday school, secondary Sunday school, youth, graduates, pre-servant, servant. At a certain stage they decided إنهم يعني to have some people to serve with them يعني as priests, and they chose me and Abouna Rufail, another doctor يعني to get this honor. I personally يعني to be honest يعني I was expecting that, but I didn't want it. But when it comes to يعني to a decision, you can't say no. You feel that it's a calling from God and you can't refuse it.
Okay. Thank
By
you
the
for
way,
honesty,
this
Abouna.
is how I يعني I put يعني Abouna Anthony in a corner.
His turn is coming up, inshallah.
Thank you, Abouna. Tomas, it is your turn in the hot seat today. It's not my turn yet. Thank you.
Thank you, Abouna, for the honesty. Yani, from this, why did you feel not saying yes from before it was yani, you were nominated, and when you said yes, how did Auntie Sahar and the rest of the family has been affected?
What is the first part of your question, sorry?
The first part is you were saying that you were not feeling to say yes before.
Yes.
Why were you not feeling to say yes?
Why? Because of the responsibility. This number one. Number two, my father of confession at the time asked me this question: why you want to say no? And to be honest with you, I told him, I'm very honest, and I am confessing. I told him I don't anyone to twist my arm. I am serving now. I am free in my service. There is no if I don't have to follow a certain harsh rules أو كده. Was answered that I remember his answer very well, and I remember we are sitting at the stairs of the chair. Actually, there is a stairs كده to get to the gate of the church, and he said to me, "Sit down here." I sat with him on the stairs. It was during the week, so there is a lot of congregation. And when I said to him that I don't anyone to twist my arm, he said to me, "You are going to be a priest, and people are going to twist both of your arms." And actually, he was prophesying.
Okay, so that reminds me, Abouna, of John 21, لما Peter كده was talking to Jesus at the very end. ربنا يديك الصحة دايما يا أبونا. And how did the family feel about this? How did Auntie Sahar feel? How did Michael and George?
Michael and George, I think they were very young. I don't know exactly their feelings. If they can open their mic and talk, they can talk. To be honest, but Sahar, يعني she was worried about this stage, and even I remember, if I'm not wrong, when the Pope Shenouda wanted us, me and Abouna Rufail, to go meet him before ordination, see us, يعني, with my father, the priest there. Sahar told me if he is going to ask me about my agreement, I will say no. And I told her, it doesn't matter, say no. But he didn't ask her anything. But Sahar, to be honest, again in front of God, was and still until now is a very, very good supportive in my service. The priest in particular needs someone, his wife, to be very supportive. He faced a lot of problem, and many times he will not be at home like any husband or any dad. She's I thank God that God chose her for me.
Thank God, Abouna. And do you think the priesthood responsibility has affected your family? يعني حضرتك كنت لسه, you're just saying that sometimes you're not there, you're busy. Has this affected your family in which sort of way?
In Egypt in particular, زي ما انت عارف, we have a lot of congregation, and a lot of people want to sit with you. It affects my family in this aspect. Also, it affects don't have مثلا mayo and swim with my kids. طبعا it until now I think, and I remember, I can't remember Michael or George, maybe one of them said to me, when we will be able, we will have a house with a swimming pool, and we'll let you to swim with us.
Thank you, Abouna. Thank you. حضرتك, you've been ordained by Pope Shenouda.
Yes.
Why did you pick the name Thomas?
I didn't pick the name Thomas. Sahar picked the name Thomas, and it is it has a story. My father of confession at the time told me, we have a recent saint, and we want his name to be famous. اللي هو بشنونة. I don't know if you know this name or not. And he told me, please.
I think since you haven't became this Abouna, I don't think the saint has become famous, Abouna.
هو أبونا قال لي كده, قال لي please, if you can take this name it will be very good. قال لي وفي نفس الوقت you will be unique. No one will be بشنونة except you. وبعدين the night before ordination, we were 9 people will be ordained priests. فجي أنبا يؤنس, the secretary of His Holiness, and sat with us, and he told us everyone should choose 3 names. I prepared myself, if this happened, I am going to say Macarius Kyrillos Bashnuna. This is the order. وبعدين Sahar, before I went there, she told me, if you have a chance to choose, you choose Thomas. قلت لها, no, I'm not going to choose Thomas. قالت لي, this is her story. قالت لي إنه She saw St. Thomas in a dream or a vision, something like that. I can't remember. And he said to her, Thomas, Thomas, Thomas. So when we sat with Amba Yoannis, he asked everyone to choose the three names and started to write down in front of each name of us the names which he chose. فI told him Macarius, Carolus, Bashnuna. قال لي no, Bashnuna no. You have to choose another name. فأنا يعني I wasn't يعني I didn't expect that he will say no يعني. Suddenly I paralyzed يعني I frozen. I told him choose for me. قال لي no, I'm not going to choose for you. You have to choose. وبعدين قال لي quickly. طبعا I was يعني the fourth one I think in the room. At this time I remember what Sahar said to me. I said to him, Thomas. Surprisingly يعني on the day of ordination, every one of us, His Holiness يعني chose either the first or the second name for him, except me. I am the only one the Pope chose the third name for me. And it's a great blessing to be Thomas طبعا. After that يعني I realized it.
Okay, Abouna. And what's your relationship with St. Thomas بقى since?
He is a great saint. And actually, one of the stories which I can tell about him, you can ask Uncle Michel Nazar. He can tell you. إنه إحنا Pope Carolus Church SMPK, when we start to buy it, he said to me, I want you to pray. قلت له, okay, we are going to take Amba Tumas يعني as an intercessor for this. And every now and then, يعني I can't remember now the difficulties, but he remembered it very well. Every now and then, he said to me, St. Thomas did something. St. Thomas did something. Thanks to St. Thomas because of, and when we bought it, he made an icon for St. Thomas and put it there. يعني قال لي, this should be here, but he is a great saint.
Thank you, Abouna, for sharing this. This is really special. Abouna, do you have any other stories with Pop Shenouda? يعني since he ordained you?
I have a lot of stories of Pop Shenouda, but Pop Shenouda is a very holy person, a great Pope. I can say that he is very kind. He was very kind. I remember before I came here to London, he wanted to meet me and said to me, I want to ask about your finance. If you need anything, just tell me. And he gave me like an envelope. I can't remember how much at the time, maybe 500 pounds, maybe sterling pounds. He prepared in a sterling pounds to give it to me. He was very kind and he was very wise. But the stories about wisdom, I will keep it for myself.
Okay, Abouna, fair enough. Thank you for sharing this to begin with. طيب, Abouna, you stayed in Egypt for a few years before moving here. How was your service in Egypt before you moved here?
In Egypt, as I told you, I was very well known to everyone because I served at all the stages of service. And this helped me a lot when I started my service, that you have a base. Yani, everything you know about your church, and all people love you, all people wants to serve alongside with you. It was يعني honestly it was a lovely period يعني in my life as a priest.
And then you moved to the UK, Abouna. Why did you move to the UK? What, yani, since you're yani, very well established in your service in Egypt and the church, how did the move to the UK happen, or why?
It happened because of Abouna Bshoy. Abouna Bshoy, Allah ينيح نفسه, when he ordained the priest, he ordained at our church, St. George in Al-Dahar, Marigirgis Al-Dahar. He wasn't my father of confession, but he knew me. Yani he knew me as a servant, and after that, I think he went to another church in maybe Madinat Nasr or something like that. And after that, he came here to London. When I ordained the priest, he started, he congratulated me and brought to me and Abouna رفائيل عمة هنا بيعملوا كان ساعتها كانوا بيعملوا هنا صوف كده very good quality يعملوا منه العمم في مصر. وبعدين after every now and then he visited Egypt, he visited Cairo. And once he told me, I want to talk with you. And he told me, I want you to serve in London. Firstly, I refused. And he told me, I will tell you something. If you don't agree with this, you will be taken to any elsewhere. So it is better for you to accept what I'm saying. And I trust his word, because actually this is what happened before he came to London, that Amba Arsenius, the Bishop of Holland, he visited me and Sahar at home and asked me to come to Holland during the Holy Week. With a miracle, this didn't happen. When Abouna Bshoy came after that and told me, I am telling you, Abouna Bshoy came very close to the Pope, as you know, yani. I'm telling you, and you are not going to serve in your church for a long time. It's better to come to London instead of going anywhere. فساعتها I start to consider it. This is why I came to London. يعني. I'm not a special, but he, I'm talking seriously. يعني, but he knew me many years ago before my ordination.
It's a cheeky question. I know we're all here, but I have to ask. So, do you prefer your service in Egypt or you prefer your service here?
I will be very honest with you. Every service has its taste. In Egypt, when I start my service in Egypt, as I told you, I have a very solid ground. This helped me a lot to start my service very quickly and to do what I want to do. When I came here, I can say it's quantity and quality. The service in London is quality. How to deal with every person, how to understand he needs exactly. But the service in Egypt has its blessing, and the service in London, of course, has its blessing.
Thank you, Abouna. When you came back, I'm sure that you faced lots of challenges when you came to the UK. I'm sure it was a little bit different. Can you share with us some of these challenges? Whether it's service or family, personal challenges?
on the level of service, the main challenge for me was that some of you at the time, they didn't feel that a priest from Cairo or from Egypt is suitable for us.
Yeah, there are some of them are attending this meeting. Don't answer.
I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. But they feel that because the way of thinking and the way of how to deal with people and all this stuff. And I can find an excuse for them actually. I train myself how to serve in London through them. another طبعا كانت problem language. When I came to London, I can speak English, but more medical than anything else, than normal conversation. All this كانت طبعا obstacles أو والحقيقة برضو كان في obstacle تانية إنه I can't find that some of the youth I'm not saying all of the youth, I can't find that they can open their hearts to you like in Egypt, like in Cairo, anyone can sit with you and start to talk freely about his life and any problem he is facing. هنا كان طبعا they as if they take a step back, they are worried. Can we speak with this person or not? But thank God, I really experienced the grace of God during this service. عارف ليه؟ لأنه when I analyze what happened, when I start my service in my church in Cairo, as I am telling you, everything was prepared for me. As if I am depending on my abilities and the base which I put it in the church. When I came here, as if God is telling me, I am going to turn over everything. You have to start from the scratch and you have to depend on me, not on your abilities. عارف كده زي سامبول لما ربنا قال له طبعا I'm not سامبول لكن just الفيرس لما قال له go for I will send you far away to the Gentiles. Gentiles وبتاعي ده هو فريسي ابن فريسي. he can get for him all the Jews. He knows the law very well. But he took him from his his playground. فقال له تعالى أنا هرميك في حتة جديدة. This is what I felt. And thank God لأنه بعد كده year after year I start إن أنا to have a very good relationship with the youth. I thank God إنه my relationship with them until now is perfect. I remember one of the youth now he is a great man. He has a lovely family وkids وكده. After the departure of Abouna Allah يرحم نفسه, he came to the office and told me, I want to sit with you. I told, yes, of course, anything I can help with. He told me, I know that we give you a very hard time. But I am telling you that not only me, but all the group is very willing to cooperate with you in the future. Thank God.
Thank God, Abouna. Abouna, you were always had a passion for the youth. Why the youth in specific?
Because this is what God puts in my hand as a responsibility. Yani after my ordination in Egypt, in my original church in Cairo, my father there held a meeting with the priest, yani, the only priest, to distribute the service among them. Who is going to responsible for what? And I put in my heart that I am not going to choose for myself. And I found them telling me, you are going to be responsible for the youth and for the graduates. I said, okay. And after that, when Abouna called me to come here, the Pope told me, you are going to be responsible for the youth. It's okay. I am not that person which should be responsible for the youth. I am speaking very honestly, but this is what God wants me to do. I thank God a lot that now we have a priest for the youth. Maybe it will help a lot, yeah.
Oh, Abouna Anthony is being called a lot today. When he turns come, inshallah, he will share his bits. Abouna, you haven't told us about the challenges from a personal perspective when you moved to the UK.
Of course, there was a challenges for example, for Michael and George. Michael وجورج كانوا in Cairo in a French school, Jesuit. And when we moved here, طبعا كانت a big change in their lives. Where I remember that Sahar went to Michael's school a certain day, and she found him crying because he was bullied, and we start to search for another school, and thank God we found the school accepting him in the choir, and with fees I think at 50%, and God arranged how this 50% was paid. A lot of the same happened with George. George برضو كان in his school was bullied. وبعدين I will tell you a story about how God can work. George in my heart and in Sahar's heart that he should have the same chance as his brother. His brother was in a private school for a while, so George should have the same chance. And after being bullied in his school, we went to a school in Ealing. We don't know the school actually very well, but we heard about it. And we asked to meet the headmaster. And the headmaster gave us a chance to sit with him. And we told him the story, and we need our son to be at your school. But we will not be able to pay the whole fees. So if you can help us in this situation. I think, if I am not wrong, he told us, bring him for me first for interview. And after interviewing him, he sat with us, and he said, okay, we are going to give you a discount. What discount you imagine we can give you? I was about to say, if you can give us 40% or 50%, it will be great. And I found Sahar suddenly كده, she said 80%. And I looked at her, I looked at him to see the impression on his face. I thought to myself, يعني, surely he will, will say, يعني, go out. He calmly كده, he said, okay, I will see and I will discuss it and I will let you know. And surprisingly, that he accepted that. To get George with 80% discount in a school, in a private school. This is how God works, يعني, within a family. And related to the first question you asked me, do you regret to be a priest? This is how God, يعني, I can't, يعني, I can't tell you to what extent his grace with us and his blessing with us.
Thank God, Abouna. Thank God. I'm sure, Abouna, God has been like supporting you, and you've been trying to surrender more and more throughout your service. But what do you feel that there was a lesson that God was trying to teach you throughout all of these years of service? Is there any specific lesson like that you
طبعا. طبعا. يعني, I think one of the big lessons that what I mentioned was just, I mentioned, don't depend on yourself, depend on my grace. I will do the work. يعني, when you are weak, I will work in you and with you more and more. Like my story. يعني. Another lesson, I think, I'm not going to explain it in details because I don't want, but nothing will reach you except God, if God allowed it to reach you. يعني, don't be worried about anything. Don't be worried about your life, your family, whatever the threatening, يعني, you will face, whatever the danger will be in front of you, nothing will touch you as long as he doesn't to reach you. Nothing. This is a great lesson. Really, I learned in my service, يعني, in the last, مثلا, you can say 10 years. The third lesson, love never fails. يعني, whatever you will face, يعني, face it with love, and the love will win. For sure will win.
I'm very intrigued, Abouna, to be asking the stories behind these lessons, but I think, yani, you're reserving to share them. Type, Abouna, are there any more lessons you think that God is still trying to show you? Like,
طبعا. He is still trying to make me humble because as you know, I am proud of myself, and every now and then he put in front of me, يعني,
Abouna, I think we all learn from you, Abouna, and all the rest of
أنا اللي بتكلم. really, يعني, لا, I'm talking really, and يعني, the second lesson that يعني, don't push a lot in something in a closed door. يعني, when I find a closed door in front of me in the service, for example, I keep pushing, يعني, aiming to be opened, which is good, but the higher level than that you can accept that this door is closed and keep it within his hands, and he himself open this door for you. And instead of using, يعني, your power and your effort, use his effort to open this door.
Thank you, Abouna. Abouna, since you came to the UK, do you feel, and through the service in London and with the youth here, do you feel your relationship with God has changed, or with the church has changed? Like, do you feel that if you stayed in Egypt, you would have the same relationship with God or with the church?
Oh, honestly, I train myself that my relationship with God, and I say that as an advice to anyone confess to me. Let your relationship with God doesn't depend on the surrounding circumstances. This is very important principle. If I am here in London, my relationship with God is there. If I am there in X, Y, Z, my relationship with God will remain the same. Because if it depends on the surrounding circumstances, of course, it will be up and down, up and down, up and down, depending on the situation. But I train myself that I focus in my relationship with Him on, to be honest, and focus on Him, whatever the surrounding circumstance.
Thank you, Abouna. طيب, احنا دلوقتي after Holy Week has passed and we are in the Holy 50s. Usually we all have a dip down spiritually. How are you, Abouna Tomas, keeping your spiritual fire inside?
By being honest in my daily quiet time. We have to be honest in this. As regards reading the Bible, as regards prayer, whatever we used to do, we have to do. If we keep this, if you have a certain program for spiritual reading every day, whatever, keep the system as it is, and it will keep you firing.
Thank you, Abouna. Another question is, what do you do when you feel down, Abouna? Like, I'm sure with all the tribulations and the problems that are happening from the congregation, sometimes you might feel down yourself.
Yes.
What do you do in these specific moments?
I cry, I weep, and I say to Him, you put me in this position, and you have to take it. It's not me who wants to face all this problem, but this is because you chose me, and you know that I am weak and I am not be able to face all this problem. So please take it. And believe me, this is the best way to when you are down to do. Just be alone and cry to Him.
Thank you, Abouna. I think it's very valuable advice to all of us. After 23 years of priesthood, what would Abouna Tomas today say to Albert Gabriel like 23 years ago, after this experience of being a priest?
I think after this long journey, Mina, when I look back, I see honestly, how, to what extent God is good, to what extent He is very keen about every one of us. He is very keen about me on a personal level, on family level, on my service. He is very keen. When I say very keen, I mean it. Very keen. His plan is always perfect. Always perfect. Sometimes we say hard words to him. Where are you? You are not a dad. We can't feel you. But honestly, his plan is very perfect and very good. This is what I can tell to Alberian after after all these years.
Thank you, Abouna. And if there is one advice you would tell the youth today, after all of these years, what would you tell them?
To be honest, there is a desire in my heart. I wish one day to be fulfilled. I wish to find the youth loving their church, church, feeling it's how much she is precious. Our Coptic church is a very precious church, but we don't feel it. يعني from my heart, I want يعني a day will come to find the youth are church people. لأنه if we reach this target خلاص هم يعني they are secured. You know يعني like Noah's Ark خلاص they are inside the ark. Whatever بقى the waves outside, whatever the tribulation outside, they are inside the ark. But احنا we need to discover to what extent our church is powerful to protect us. I wish one day يعني نحن to find يعني كده an army of the youth, all of them are church people.
Thank you, Abouna. Malish, please forgive me to ask this. You're asking this of the youth. Have you been this fiery and this loving to the church when you were in your youth? Like, if that was the case, what has inspired you? Who has inspired you to have this connection with the church?
I will be very honest with you. يعني we as a group, I am saying we as a group, we had a servant, a Sunday school teacher, dedicated his life for us. So he taught us how to pray the Agbeya, for example, and he used to pray the Agbeya with us in every meeting, and to sit with every one of us to like a follow-up every month. What is your spiritual program for praying the Agbeya? What book of in the Bible you are reading? What? And he taught himself the tasbih to teach it for us, and he started to encourage us to pray the tasbih with him every Saturday in Coptic or in Arabic. يعني عايز اقول ونلخبط زي ما نلخبط, it doesn't matter, but we start to love the tasbih. I will tell you a story. يعني احنا in my church in Egypt, in Cairo, we have the mini church. This is St. George Church. And in the basement, we have a very small church in the name of St. Mina. Because we used to pray the tasbih. After a while, we started to pray it. After a while, it doesn't mean while we are in secondary school, يعني after graduation. يعني we used to pray the tasbih together, even with him or without him. خلاص احنا we got the spirit. After finishing the tasbih, one of the kids actually, we pray it يعني as servants, and we have kids. One of the kids saw like oil dripping from the icon of Saint Mina. It was a big icon at the end of the church. One icon for Saint Mina and other icon for Pope Carlos. And all of people يعني كانوا youth كلهم, وكنا احنا servants يعني no one else يعني. We find يعني the icon is pouring oil. وبعدين someone يعني went to the icon of Pope Carlos, and the Pope Carlos also is pouring oil. And this happened exactly. I saw it with my eyes. And we discovered after that that all of the icons of the church at the time were pouring oil with a lovely, lovely, lovely odor, lovely smile, a lovely smell. And the oil remained pouring from the icons to the day after. It was Saturday evening. So after the Mass, Abouna came and went downstairs and he found the oil. So this is our church. I mean, this how can يعني when we have يعني when as servants يعني when we put the church in our hearts, it is very easy to يعني to give it and to transfer it to your kids. I wish إن احنا at a certain stage we have this army of a church youth people.
From this story, Abouna, yani, I have to ask you, what are you asking your youth servants?
Our youth servants يعني are great people, and you know, I am so blessed to belong to this group, and I always يعني mention that in my message. This is يعني what I really feel يعني. I'm so blessed to serve along these blessed people يعني. But of course, يعني, what I am saying about my Sunday school teacher, because he has time to dedicate it to us as a group. But every one of you, of course, has his own responsibilities, with his own family, with his own job. يعني, I can understand this from our group, but again, يعني, when you find one servant very dedicated to his service from our group, we got 3 priests and 1 monk from this group.
Actually, we are blessed to have you, Abouna. Thank you. On a little bit of cheeky questions, Abouna, you're famous of always كده loving to joke and laugh. Have this ever got you into trouble?
يعني as much as you can smile. انت عارف يعني smiling from the medical point of view, the muscles which you need to smile are much less than the muscles of your face which you need to use to تكشر يعني ايه مش عارف English يعني
to frown.
يعني smile at least to relax your face. Smiling, Amina, sometimes solve problems. And I remember I was dealing with a problem between husband and wife, and the situation يعني is so tense. وبعدين I told him, the husband, I told him, relax. I will tell you a joke just to change the mood, and we'll return back to the conflict. No problem. I told him a joke actually. يعني I heard it from a Catholic priest. And remember this, a Catholic priest doesn't get married. He told me a joke. He told me that there was a husband and wife, and they used to have an argument with each other. Always. وبعدين their children they became يعني men and women, and they have their families. They decided that on their anniversary wedding يعني, they will give them a consultation. They will pay for a consultation with a psychiatrist to sit with both of them. يعني خلاص هم they are old now and they are still يعني arguing with each other. So they went to the psychiatrist, when they sit down with him, when they start their session, they start to argue again. The doctor kept silent كده, وبعدين he stood up and went to the wife and kissed her and and said to her husband, your wife needs that. قال له needs what? قال له she needs to kiss her. He told him, kiss her how many times per week? قال له kiss her 3 times per week. قال له okay, I will bring her to you Saturday, Friday, Monday to kiss her. So when I said the joke to the husband, he started to be relaxed, and the situation changed, and we solved the problem. خلاص smiling is a gift from God. Keep smiling.
Thank you, Abouna. Thank you. Thank you, Abouna. But since you're smiling there, Abouna, Michael has trimmed your beard before to a smaller shape. Which one do you prefer, Abouna?
مش عارف ايه رأيك انت؟
Oh, it's your beard, Abouna. It's not mine.
هو actually I love to be as I am but I noticed انه people here in London or in UK they can't recognize a priest, or they can't understand the priest with a long beard. Most of the priests here they always have short beard. I hate in هم they consider me any other religion. Actually I found it's a good idea. وبعدين every now and then all the members of the family encourage me to do that. But to be honest, I don't do it frequently because I don't trust Michael. Because he sometimes he do his job very honest. I don't like that.
Thank you, Abouna. And I know I'm just cautious of time. If in the last couple of minutes, what would be your message for us for the resurrection, Abouna? What would the resurrection message for all of us be from Abouna Tunes?
Is in 1 minute, after resurrection, nothing impossible. After defeating death, which is the biggest enemy, as the Lord did, nothing impossible. If you face a problem, it has a solution in his hand, because he defeated the most powerful thing. If anyone's suffering from any bad habit, nothing impossible. If you face a failure in any direction, in your studies, in your work, nothing impossible. After resurrection, nothing impossible. Full stop.
Thank you, Abouna. Thank you very much for all of your sharing today and the stories you've shared with us. Honestly, we've learned a lot. I think we have Abouna Antonius and Abouna Anthony, and I'm sure they would like to share something with you before we end up today.
تفضل أبونا أنطونيوس. So if we'll give him a few minutes to join us. Thank you very much, Abouna Tumes. It was lovely, honestly, to listen to these wonderful stories and to learn from the wisdom and from the experience. To be honest with you, Abouna Tumes has been a great role model for me, and you know, he's been an inspiration for me over the years, as have all the fathers of Abouna Antonius and Abouna Serapion as well. But you know, we'll talk about me another time. But I've certainly learned a lot from Abouna Tomes and his experience and his wisdom over the past 10 years or so. Thank you very much.
احنا يعني thank God by your ordination we catch two birds by one stone. You enjoy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I would like to tell you that we are lucky to have Abouna Tomes with us.
ربنا يخليك أبونا قدسك the father of all of us.
No. Because really he is a blessing man. And the most important thing is love. So when the priests love each other, the service will be very successful. So I feel with the love of Abouna Tomes, and also I love him because he is special for me, helping me. So and so. I don't want to talk too much, but he is very, very honest man, very clear and lovely man. We thank God that we are together in this church, and we hope that the Lord will help us to please him, please our Lord Jesus Christ. Thank you, Abouna, for this interview, for this knowledge.
Thank you, Abouna.
Thank you,
And
Abouna
it's a
Antonius.
blessing to listen to you.
And if I can ask you one final question, Abouna, when Abouna Tomes تشيكي كده شوية وبيتشاقى شوية مع أبونا أنطونيوس حضرتك بتعمل معاه إيه بقى؟
No, it is sort of love, يا حبيبي. It is sort of love. So love did not fail, never failed. So even you love somebody from your heart, whatever he will say, you will love him.
بعدين أنت you can't eat any meal without some salt and pepper. This is the salt and pepper. يعني without me, Abouna Antonius will feel إنه the meal is not attractive, it's not delicious.
You make nice taste for the life.
Honestly, Abounas, we are very, very, very blessed to have you in our church. We are learning all the time from you. And we thank you for all the wonderful time and stories and experience and spiritual benefit that you've been sharing always with us. And
you are waiting for the interview to Abouna Anthony.
Inshallah.
We love to listen to him.
Inshallah, Abouna, inshallah, coming.
Okay. Thank you, Amina, for this good interview and good idea.
Okay. If you can end for us, please, so we can go in peace, inshallah.
In the name of the Father, Son, the Holy Spirit, one God, Amen. Our Lord Jesus Christ, we thank you from all our hearts for your arrangement, for your help, for your giving us the power of resurrection. Thank you for giving us St. Mark Church in London to serve. We ask you to give the blessing of the saint, St. Mark the Great, and his service, and how he served Alexandria and all Egypt became Christians with the grace of God and his efforts. Please give us this power to be good missionaries to our Christianity and all our congregation. And we ask for everyone in our congregation to come back to Jesus with love, with respect. A lot of people is very far. We ask prayers for them that the Lord can touch their hearts and come back to us. Accept our praise and intercession of St. Mary, St. Mark, when you ask you, saying, Our Father who art in heaven, Hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, thy will on earth as it is. Give us daily bread, forgive us trespasses, forgive us trespasses. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. أبونا توماس يصرفنا بقى عشان نمشي.
لا يا ابونا ازاي بس اتفضل.
لا هو كده النهارده قدسك
لا ما انا كفايه. لا قدسك اتفضل.
حبة الله الآب ونعمة الابن الوحيد شركة ومحبة وعطية الروح القدس تكن معكم تدم فيكم ابقوا بالسلام في بيوتكم. سلام الرب معك معكم.